Hey, what's up, everyone? In the last part, we designed the user interface for every fragment. Now uh, we'll be making this navigation flow through to the fragments. Okay, so what we need is when a user clicks on this next button on any of the fragment, which is this next button in the name fragment, this fragment should be replaced with a birthday fragment. And when the user taps on this next button in the birthday fragment, he should be redirect. The fragment should be replaced with this gender fragment. So this is basically the what the fragment transaction is. And now what we can do is I have to set up some sort of a listener in the activity which can listen to the click event on this next button in any of the fragments. So we'll make a package which will be our utilities package. In this we'll place all our minor stuffs. We create a new Java class, and basically this would be an interface which will be like the fragment change list. Okay, so this fragment change listener uh, will have function which would be void. What should I name it? On next click, and sorry. So this will actually I have to pass the data also. So in this name we have this first name and this last name. And when the user taps on this next button, this and this the both it will get the details from both these text fields and will bind it to a map or list, I guess. We should take map. Okay, so this will it will bind both of these text fields data to that map, and it will forward the map to the next fragment. Okay, so let's do we'll make a map of string, and we'll name it account details. And okay, so we are done creating the fragment change listener. Let us close these things, and in the registration activity let us initialize some stuff. Okay, so one more thing, uh, we have to like change the uh, this text on this toolbar, and we have to like uh, set up a listener for this set up an on click listener of the for this back button also. So what we can do is make a private context object, and context, and then the private toolbar toolbar v7 widget for my toolbar, and then the private uh, map object which will be my string, and this will be my account details is equals to new hash map. Okay, and what this should do is You can just make init method here. So this will be public void init method public. This should basically initialize context object and the toolbar equals to find view by id r.id dot action bar registration activity. Okay, done. And a fragment object, a fragment object which will keep hold of the uh, current fragment. Done. Okay, so this thing will also implement, and this whole thing will implement what the fragment change listener, because we want to set the listener on this activity. Implement the method on next clicked. Okay, first of all, when this activity loads, we want that the name fragment should load first. So what we will do is current fragment is equals to new name fragment. We will load this new fragment or name fragment first. So just get support fragment manager dot begin transaction dot add, and we need a container ID, and our container ID was what? We had this frame layout here, and this frame layout was fragment container RA. So we write r dot id dot fragment container RA and a name and the fragment. Okay, so we'll pass in the current fragment, and now we will not add this name fragment to the backstack, because when the user clicks back button, we want to exit this activity when it is on the name fragment, because name fragment would be the first fragment, and if I add it to the backstack, the fragment uh, so, so when the user will tap on the back button, the fragment will get destroyed, but the activity will still remain on the screen. So let us do comment. This whole thing uh, is responsible for uh, mm, adding the fragment to the screen. And in the next click, okay, so let us move forward. Let me just toolbar dot set. Let me just set title for this. Set title, and this title would be the name. Let me just find this context or sorry, get the string r dot string dot name, and we'll make this name should be name resource value. Done. Okay. Let us move to the current fragment. Is the name fragment, and in this name fragment, what we will do is I'll make an init method to public void init widgets And what this contains is basically a next button to edit texts. So we make private edit text, and this edit text would be the first name edit text and the last name edit text. Private uh, text view, and this would be the next button. Initialize this. The first name id would be the view dot find view by id r dot id dot the first name fn. Same last name id is equals to find view by id r dot id dot last name fn. Next button is equals to view dot find view by id dot find view by id r dot id dot the next button, and this is the fragment name. Done. Init widgets, and okay, so I have to set a listener on this fragment name fragment. So what I can do is I can just make public void setup fragment listener, and this will accept a fragment listener change listener object, which will be fragment change listener. And in this make one more thing here, private fragment change listener and the fragment change listener, and I can pass the data through it also. So this will be like the map of the string and the string, and this would be the account details, and in here you can also make private map object, which would be the string and the string, and this would be the account details, account details, and is equals to new hash map, and the this dot fragment change listener is equals to the fragment change listener, which we'll pass. This dot account details is equals to the account details, which we'll be passing. And done. Okay, so we can set an on-click listener on the next button, which will do something. So the next button dot set on click listener, new on click listener, and it will call the click method. So this will be, let me just create another method, public void uh, next button clicked, and I'll check for the null pointer. So if the fragment change listener is not equal to null, and the account details is not equal to null, then only, and then I'll pass something as this fragment change listener, and uh, pass the data to the next fragment. Okay, this is a basic structure, I guess. Okay. In the registration activity, after this thing, this is the first load of the fragment, and here the current fragment dot set setup set of the fragment change listener. I have to typecast it into the name fragment dot set of fragment change listener, and this accepts a fragment change listener object and a map. Okay, so we have both these things. This activity implements the fragment change listener. So the fragment change listener's object could should be the context, and this account details object will be this account details. Okay, so this should not be the context. This should be the object of this activity. Done. Okay, this looks fine. And this, yeah, we got the usage of this set of fragment changes now. And if the fragment is next button clicked, if the fragment and account details are not null, then we can accept um, the details from the first and last name. So the string first name is equals to first name ed dot get text to string, and similarly this would be the last name and first name dot last name dot get text dot to string. Okay, so if these both are not empty like this, and last name is not empty, then add the add we can add this data to this account details map dot put, and this key would be the first name. I can just make okay, let me just make a private variable which will be my context. So private context, this would be get activity dot get this string r dot string dot we can just make these thing map not map, what should I map the first name. Okay, let's take the first. What should I keep? Let's take intent, because this data would be passed as an intent also. So intent the first name. First name, and then the value, which will be the first name, and after this just copy this and paste this, and this would be the last name last name last name last name. And what I'll do now is fragment change listener dot on next clicked, and I'll pass in the account details. Done. We're done in creating, setting up the listeners on this. Okay. Now in this on next click, if the current current fragment is an instance of the name fragment, then what we should do is uh, the current fragment should be equal to the next fragment, uh, which should be the new birthday birthday fragment. And after this, we're gonna do the same. You can set the title, get the support fragment manager, and begin the transaction with the fragment, and set up the fragment change listener. Okay, so let me just copy this or paste. Can I make the method for this? Okay, so this string dot birthday. And the current fragment is a birthday. This would be the birthday fragment. And now what I'll do, else if the current fragment is an instance of uh, the birthday fragment, then I want to redirect it to the email fragment. No, not the email, the gender fragment. Else if it is an instance of the gender fragment, then I'll redirect it to the email fragment. Else if the current fragment is an instance of the email fragment, then I want to redirect it to the password fragment. And if it is an instance of the password fragment, I want to create an account because that will be my last fragment. Or we'll do something else with it. For now, we'll let me just copy this whole thing and paste it in the birthday fragment, in the gender fragment, in the email fragment, and not in the password fragment. If the current fragment is an instance of the birthday fragment, so what I should do is the current fragment should be the gender fragment, and this title for this gender fragment should be the gender. Create new gender, and this should be the gender fragment. Done. And now if it is an instance of gender fragment, we should redirect it to the email fragment, and this should be the email fragment, email of fragment, and Yeah, this should be the password fragment now. Password fragment, password fragment. Done. And when we are in the password fragment for now, we'll just log uh, the account details. Okay, so now we have to create like the same in the birthday fragment. And go to the birthday fragment, and I want this date. And okay, so this should be the height should be the wrap content, and I should make a scroll view and put it inside it. The height should be the match parent, and the width should be wrap match parent. Done. So this will scroll easily now. Okay, so I'll skip this a little bit. I'll initialize some widgets, and uh, then we'll see what we will do. Okay, so I have made the basic structure of every fragment. So basically, the email fragment has this edit text, this initial init widget method, this setup fragment change listener, which is same as the name fragment. All are the same. This is the next button click. I haven't set the logic uh, for the handling of data when the button is clicked. Same as the gender fragment. In gender fragment, I have a radio group. We had a radio group, and I have just made a radio group object and initialize it, and the set of fragment change listener and the next button click, the next button dot set on click listener. The basic structure is same for all the fragments. This is the same for the pastor fragment, and the birthday fragment has the date picker dialog. So not the dialog, the date picker. The date picker is find view by ID, and this, and this next button clicked. Okay, so now we'll design the internal logic of what should happen when the next button is clicked. And here you can see all the errors are gone, which were uh, which were there when we uh, wrote all this code. I think I should format it. It's it looks ugly. It looks super ugly. Okay, so let us move forward to the birthday fragment. Now I have a date picker. I don't know how the data would be uploaded to the cloud. If any changes happens, um, we will change it in this birthday or any of the fragment later. For now, let us take integer values like the int year and month and age. The date picker dot get month, and this month would be in int month is equal to this int year is equal to date picker dot get year int day is equals to date picker dot get day of the month. And now uh, we will bind it to the account details. So basically, if the year is not null and month is not null and the day is not null, oh, oh I'm sorry. If any of these things, uh, if the user hasn't chosen reject, uh, what should I do to confirm the birthday? Uh, Leave it. We'll just do this. Dot put. The string would be mm, get the activity dot set this get the string to r dot string r dot string dot intent underscore month, and this would be string dot value of the month. Similarly, we'll do this for the year and the date. Year and the date. Birth year. Birth year. Done. And then the fragment change listener dot. On next click, the account details. Done. After the birthday fragment comes the gender fragment. And what we'll do is if the radio group dot get selected get id get selected item dot get default. There was method get selected. Okay, so this was get checked radio button id. If this id double equals to r dot id dot male radio button, and the string gender, then the gender would be equal to male. Else if the radio group double equals to r dot id dot female, then the gender would be female. Else we'll print a toast message and get the activity, which will be the context. Select a gender. And account details dot put the activity dot string r dot string dot intent underscore the gender. After this, we have this email fragment. This is simple. If the email edit text is not equal uh, is not equal to this, then do just one thing, account details dot put, and this with get activity dot get the string r dot string dot intent email email. Click hit OK, and the email would be email et dot get text dot to string. Okay, no, et dot get the text dot to string. And then the fragment change listener dot on next select and the account details, and done. Here I have gender fragment, email fragment, and the birthday fragment, and the name fragment. Now remains the password fragment. This would be the same as the email fragment. I'll just copy paste the thing. Password at the text and password at the text, and the password edit text is less than password edit text dot get text dot to string dot length is greater than if sorry, if this is not equal to this, and if the length is greater than or equal to 8, then we should do this. If the email is not equal to this, and in the name also, if the name the first name and the last name is not equal to this, then we should do this. Okay, done. Now let us run this on our device. Hope this works fine. Okay, let's see how this works. Create new account, and it asks me for my name, and if I click on next, nothing. Oh, the title, actually the title should be here. I have to place it here. Okay, this is a bug. This is first bug, and if I click on next, nothing happens, which is fine. And if I fill in my name or anything, and if I click on next, oh, okay. So here's the bug. We need to replace the fragment. We have to replace the fragment. I have edited over another fragment. So we have to replace all the fragments here. Have to replace the fragment, and we have to replace this fragment too. And when and we have to add it to the backstack also. Dot add to the backstack, and the name of this fragment would be the fragment name, which is this, the values string, and the fragment name. string fragment underscore name fragment. Just copy this, paste. This is the birthday fragment. This would be the email fragment. This should be the password fragment, and here will be the gender fragment. Okay, add to the backstack, get the string r dot string dot birthday fragment, and just copy this stuff, paste it here, paste it here, and paste it here. This should be the password fragment. This should be the email fragment. This should be the gender fragment. And in the registration activity, it should not have title. Title margin, title text color. Okay, so we'll not have a title here. Instead, we'll have a text view, whose width would be wrap content and height would be match parent. Right. And should have margin start of 16 dp, and the text for now would be the title. Color would be white, and the style would be not the style. The size would be 24. SP and the gravity would be center, and margin start padding 16 dp. Style would be bold, not bold. This is fine, and I can 22 is fine. And its ID would be ID action bar title. And here toolbar dot find view by ID r dot ID dot title. Toolbar dot find view by ID action bar title. Dot set the text to something. And this whole thing is a text view. Copy this. Here also done. We're done. And let us see now what happens. Here it goes. I clicked on the create new account button. Okay, so the title is now showing. Varun and Sharma. And when I click on next, it changes the whole fragment. Oh, this is something. This is a bug. Oh my goodness. Okay, so we'll select something. This should be. And select a random date. Click here and click on next. Nothing happens. Select a gender. Click on male. Click next. And let me just show you the logcat. And data which is passes on next click. On next click. It will appear here. So in this email, type in a random email, click on next and the password. I'll type in 2. It will do nothing because we have specified the length of the password. So 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10. Click on next and here it shows me something. The last name is this, birth month is this, year is this, and um, I don't know what happened to it. The email, the password is intent email. Okay, so this should be intent password, intent password. Okay, now it will. And what is missing? Gender is male, birth year is this, month is this, the date is missing in the birthday fragment. Okay, so this is the year and intent date as birth year. This should be the date. Here I am in the password. Let me just run this again and let's see what happens. There are some UI bugs uh, which you can fix. The app has restarted and now when I click on create new account button in my name, click on next, click on next, click on name, mail, and enter my email address. Click on next, uh, my password, and when I click on next, here it is. The password is this. The birth year is 2018. Birth month is 2, which is March. And the date is correct. The name is correct. Email done. Gender male. First name is this. Okay, so this is working. The fragment transaction is working. And when I click on back, it just goes back to email. And when I go back to gender, it goes to the gender fragment. But there is one thing. Whenever this whenever I go back, the toolbar title does not change. And this this thing, when I click on next, nothing happens. It just uh, it just s- it is stuck with this password fragments click listener. So what this is doing now, it has the current fragment equal to the password fragment, because on the press of the back button, nothing happens to the current fragment variable. This is holding the reference to the password fragment, and it just behaves like it is in the password fragment when I click on next. And when I click on next, it just shows me the list of this, show me the map of my account details. Okay, so this is something we'll be fixing in the next part. Till then, like, subscribe, and share this video. And one more thing, you can just improve this, you can just fix this bug. This is something a UI bug, and I'll not be wasting time on fixing this thing. Okay, thanks for watching.